All right, let's talk politics, man. Let's get into it, because last night we sat here begrudgingly listening to John Fetterman fail to speak.
Terrible.
It was horrifying. It was horrifying. And now we have this from timcast.com. Supporters double down on Fetterman. Accuse critics of ableism and bullying. Did you guys see the View clips? When they were like, I thought the Hippocratic Oath was do no harm. Dr. Oz was bullying Fetterman. Bullying? He was having a debate. It's a political debate. He's supposed to be like, you're wrong, John. At any point, did Dr. Oz say Fetterman has brain damage?
No.
What are they talking about? These people have lost the plot. They're willing to put in a guy who clearly his brain does not work. Welcome to modern politics. I suppose they hate you so much. And I mean this. I'm not trying to. There's not an emotional dig or anything. It's factual. They hate Republicans. They hate Trump. They hate MAGA to the degree that they would vote for someone like John Fetterman.
Did you watch the debate?
Oh,
Ian?
I absolutely watched the debate. It was tough to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about somebody that's going to be one of 100 senators in the United States Senate, potentially, that said he's going to vote, to break the filibuster, to end the legislative filibuster. And this is someone who cannot answer a question on his point of view for fracking and explain, were you lying then? Are you lying now? Or did your position evolve? We got no answer. I mean, we got a long pause, no answer. And for people to say, well, it's ableism. I mean, the same people that said, when Mike Pence was debating Kamala Harris, if he challenged her on something, well, then that was mansplaining, right? It's the same thing. If you're a conservative and you actually argue your points and they can somehow, turn it into, well, we really can't argue with what you said, or that argument isn't really going to work. So we're going to, say you're mansplaining, you're an ableist, you're racist, you're insurrectionist, whatever. I mean, just pick from the cookie jar of things to throw out there.
What is ableism?
It's discrimination against someone who is differently abled.
I'm going to make an ableist t-shirt out of all these discussions about ableists.
Hey, hell yeah. Give me
Like
one
2
of
plus
those.
2 equals 5, you ableist.
So it's
I'm going to make an
about like a
able full
disability
shirt that only has like one or no sleeves.
Well, as I understand ableism, it's...
I wasn't supposed to be a joke. I'm like, are there people who have like one arm? Do they wear shirts with an empty sleeve? Like, are there shirts that just don't have one? I mean, that'd be cool, right?
It would be cool, actually.
Yeah, able, not ableist. I guess that.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're still
ableist?
able. Those people are still able. The whole disabled, things might be more challenging, but you're still able.
Right.
You still got your abilities.
But that's the PC idea. The disabled just referred to someone who has a disability.
they used to call them cripple. I mean, the word.
They call them invalids.
Yeah, the words have evolved over the years.
George Carlin nailed it.
Yeah, he
you
did.
guys ever see that bit where he's like, post-traumatic stress disorder? We used to call it shell shock. But then the words keep getting more and more verbose. The phrases get longer and longer. I think he mentions invalid. But then people are like, no, you can't say that. That means invalid. We can't say that. So then they create new words like retarded, but then apparently
Moron.
those become offensive. And now there's disabled, meaning you have a disability. It just meant like you didn't have your hand was injured, your foot was injured, your eye, your ear, because on average a person has 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 arms, 2 feet, 2 legs, etc. And now that's offensive. So now you're not disabled, you're just differently abled. That's not true, man. Come on, this PC is so dumb. If the average person has 2 hands and then someone loses a hand, that's not differently abled. It's disabled. I got no. What's the deal? I guess if someone's born with 3 hands, they're more abled. Whatever.
It just depends on how society's geared to function. Because if you have like 27 hands, that's a form of a disability because it'd be hard to navigate.
Well, the PC
No way.
progression language...
You could climb trees and stuff.
You nailed it, right? So I remember 20 years ago, I'm law school, reading a case, Oliver Wendell Holmes. He's going through the categories of mentally disabled people at the time, which is, the early 1900s. And you had moron, idiot, and imbecile.
Right.
And those were the 3 different categories. But then they became associated with, you can't use those anymore. So then they came up with the term mentally retarded, right? That eventually now you can't use that. So we move on to something else. And then whatever we're on now,
Neurodivergent.
you're not going to be able to use that in 20 years. That's going to be over, that's going to be over too. So we'll find out a new term.